base for beginners. Okay, so first and foremost, you little beginners trying to do your base, it's very important that you prep your face correctly. You may not think that this is important, but it's actually a crucial step to get base correct. I really like, just for basic suggestions, I really like this Mario Badescu. This honey moisturizer is awesome for like anybody that's just, I have normal skin, I don't really need anything crazy. It's only $25. And then they have an oil control one too. If you're super dry, they have this Revitallin Day Cream. Whatever kind of moisturizer you want to wear, I just want to show you a few that I like. Then the next step would be primer. A lot of people say to me, is primer really that important? And they look at me and I'm like, it's really that important. It really, really is. So these are two that I really like. So if you have really normal skin, this Smashbox, you can kind of find it anywhere. Then if you're using a super, or if you have dry skin, or if you're using a foundation that's really full coverage and dries you up, this hydrating one is really great. I also love this illuminating one. Tom Ford, it's higher end, but it's the one that I'm wearing under my makeup most of the time now. So those are three that you can try out. Also, they give away primers as like special gifts at Sephora all the time. So get one of those little things in primer and start trying it out. So now we shall move on to the base. Okay, a lot of people who say haven't worn foundation, or they don't really want a heavy cake face, which who wants a heavy cake face? No one. They tend to go to the counter and they say, I don't really want to wear a lot, but I really want to wear something. And they get into the tinted moisturizer phase. I personally am not one to love tinted moisturizer. You will find people that like tinted moisturizer. I just say get a lightweight foundation versus a tinted moisturizer. Tinted moisturizers on a lot of people, I think they rub off, they look kind of greasy. You don't really get the coverage, but you're still wearing makeup. So I say go for a lightweight foundation if you're a beginner. I've shown this before. This, like what? This is Nude Air by Dior, and it is a little bit of a higher end one, but it almost feels like a serum. It's really, really lightweight. If you don't like the feel of makeup, which a lot of beginners don't, this may be a good one for you. Yves Saint Laurent, Lord knows I ain't saying that right. Saint Laurent, whatever it is. They have this really cool Fusion Ink foundation that's also really, really lightweight. So I just wanted to show you guys these two options. I just bought a new thing of this because I really like this. Okay, so then those are two options. I'm going to show you like a medium option that I like, and I've tested and tried every single foundation, so I'm showing you my faves. This MAC Face and Body Foundation is what they call a buildable foundation. So a buildable foundation, when people say it's buildable, it's you can put one layer on and it's lighter, 2 layers on, it's medium, 3 layers on, it's full. So these are really nice because this is a great option for between a lightweight and a heavyweight like I'm about to show you. So this is also really good because it lasts a long time, it's fairly inexpensive. If you're one to put a lot of powder over top of your base, I think that this one's really great. Also, this is a pretty good full coverage general foundation for everyone. I used to use this on an everyday basis until I found the Estee Lauder Double Wear, and then I never looked back. But for a beginner, I think that this is really, really great because the heavy coverage one that I'm about to show you sometimes is too heavy for people. So this is between like a medium and a heavy. So I recommend this for people who they are ready to kind of jump right in and they want a good product, they're ready to invest, and so forth. Okay, and my all-time favorite right now is the Estee Lauder Double Wear, and this is going to run you about $15 less than most like higher end foundations, unless you're using a drugstore foundation, which is totally fine. I haven't found one that I've fallen in love with yet, but whenever I do, I will tell you. So this Estee Lauder Double Wear, and I'm going to show you how I put my Estee Lauder Double Wear on, is, I mean, they say it's stay in place makeup. Like, it will so stay in place. If someone writes on your face with a Sharpie, like while you're sleeping and you wake up and you're like, oh shoot, I don't have any time to like wipe this off, I feel like this will cover it. For reals. So I like really, really love this. So to apply foundation, you're going to go to a makeup counter and they're going to try and talk you into a brush a lot of times. How many of you guys have like this brush laying around in your house somewhere because they said, oh girl, you need a foundation brush. But then you're like, why do I need this brush when I can use my hands? Or that's what I was like. I have like every single nice fancy foundation brush that there is. I mean, this one's really awesome. This one's really awesome. Do you know what I use these for? This one for? Nothing. This one and this one though are really good to put on concealer if you're using like a, for instance, this MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. That's what I use these brushes for. So there is the option of a beauty blender too. A lot of people like this, and I used a beauty blender for about a year. However, a beauty blender absorbs a lot of product, and if you're on a budget and you don't want to go back and get new foundation like every 2 months, then I recommend putting it on with your hands and then maybe going over top of it with one of these two options. Make sure you wet this first, not this one. Now I'm going to talk about concealers. I really love this. This is Dior Nude Concealer. I think this is a really awesome base for someone that's looking for an everyday, like out the door under eye brightener. It's not really heavy, but it's coverage enough. I really like this one. These I use all the time and every day because I really prefer full coverage. These are really awesome. You have to set them immediately with like a translucent powder like I do in a lot of my makeup looks. And then I want to show you guys too, because I haven't showed you this before, or it's been a long time. So this used to be my favorite concealer for like a really, really long time. This will cover up anything. It's so awesome, but it's very, very thick and very heavy. However, if you are a person who wants to run out the door, you don't want to use tinted moisturizer or whatever, I a lot of times will just use concealer. I'll put concealer under my eyes, I'll put it like around my nose, cover up my redness, and then I'll put like a translucent powder and like a blush over top of it. And that is my like light makeup look. So this Amazing Cosmetics concealer is like a bomb for that. Okay, so last but not least, before I show you how I put them on, I'm going to talk to you about correctors. So a lot of people have purple under their eyes, or like redness from acne or scars, or you know, bruising, whatever it is. I'm going to show you some options to correct that, because people can put concealer and base and everything over top of some of these things, but if they're really discolored, there's nothing that's going to cover it up. So you have to color correct it. So this is the MAC Pro Conceal and Correct Palette in Light. And these two colors right here, this kind of like peach color, and then this yellow, they're kind of mixed because I mix them all the time. I will mix these two, and I'll put these, if I feel like I've got a little bit of purple under my eyes, and then I'll put my base and my concealer over top of it. You really kind of have to play with it because some people yellow works better on, some people peach works better on. I also want to show you too this green. Like if I have something really, really red, then I'll put a green corrector. These are like $3. This LA Girl Pro Conceal, and these will correct your stuff like whoa. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I apply my base every day. A lot of times I'll speed this up on my makeup videos, so I'm going to kind of walk you through this part. I'm going to use my Estee Lauder Double Wear just because that's what I prefer to use. This is the shade Desert Beige because I'm white as ghost. I put mine on in kind of a circular motion like this. You want to make sure you go all the way back to your hairline and always bring it down your neck. I personally would rather have a foundation shade a tiny bit light versus a tiny bit dark, because if it's a tiny bit light, then you can darken it up with bronzer. However, if it's dark, you're just putting more concealer and like heavier products on your face. It's better to correct something like that with a powder versus like more creams and fluids and such. Okay, so after you finish your foundation, then you're gonna go in with your concealer. So you're gonna always do an under eye concealer, especially because that brightens up under the eye, even if you don't have dark circles or anything like that. I always use my MAC Pro Conceal, whether you're using that or something like the Dior or something like the Amazing Cosmetics, any kind of concealer that you're gonna use, you're gonna apply that now. I'm gonna put this, I use this little thing all the time. I'll like squirt my concealer on here like that. And then I take my foundation brush, Or this is the MAC 188 brush. And then I'll lightly dust that under the eye. And notice that was just one squirt of that, and it really goes pretty far. This is also where I'm gonna do a slight contouring. I'm gonna do the contouring for beginners look next in the next video. But this is part of the base because you're gonna go underneath your eyes, anywhere where you want like light to hit. And it's gonna be here, it's gonna be here. And then I do it right here just to kind of set me up to define my contour. Then I'm gonna go in with this Laura Mercier little beauty blending type thing. And you're gonna pat your foundation. You never wanna wipe your foundation. You just wanna, it's like you're pressing it into your skin. I wish it would just stay there forever, but it won't, no matter how hard I press. I'm gonna set that now with this NARS translucent powder and any kind of like fluffy brush. This is the color Crystal. I do this a lot, but just to explain in depth why I do this. So if you use a foundation like this one that's like really heavy and full coverage, if you don't set that, then it seems to make your skin like stick together and make more wrinkles. And last but not least, for base, you're obviously gonna do, you know, your contour or your bronzer or blush, but I'm showing that in the next video, so I'm just gonna talk about the last step. This is just the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I also like Makeup Forever translucent powder. I like a lot of different setting powders, but setting powders are very important because that's gonna help your makeup kind of all stay in place. I like to use just a big fluffy brush and then put this all over my face. So that is that. So I hope you guys learned something from this base for beginners video. Look, later this week, I'm gonna be posting the contour for beginners. I'm gonna do each of the steps of the face on this beginner series just to kind of help you guys, whether you're a beginner or not, kind of like brush up on your skills. So thanks guys for watching, and check out the contour video coming next.